Cancer, the celestial crab. In the vast expanse of the night sky, where stars twinkle like distant beacons guiding explorers through the cosmos, Cancer, the celestial crab, may not be the brightest constellation, but it is undoubtedly one of the most symbolically rich. Despite its faint presence among the stars, Cancer's story has captivated human imagination for millennia, intertwining with mythology, astrology, and cultural symbolism. As a zodiac sign, it plays a pivotal role in astrology, representing the deeply emotional, intuitive, and nurturing aspects of human nature. But Cancer's story extends far beyond the realm of astrology, reaching into ancient mythological narratives, the history of celestial navigation, and even modern pop culture. A constellation of duality, a link between the earthly and the celestial. The constellation of Cancer is symbolized by the crab, a creature known for its hard shell and relentless pursuit of safety, making its symbolic role one of protection and resilience. But Cancer's dual nature, merging a creature of the sea with the earthbound strength of the crab, hints at deeper meanings, offering a sense of protection that doesn't just reflect physical safety but emotional well-being as well. While Capricornus, represented by the sea goat, combines the tenacity of the goat and the fluidity of the fish, Cancer combines vulnerability and resilience, emotional depth and pragmatic action, and represents how we balance the physical world with spiritual and emotional realms. At first glance, Cancer may seem like an unassuming constellation, as it contains no truly bright stars to rival the grandeur of others like Orion or Sirius. However, the symbolism it carries and the stars it contains play an important role in understanding the forces that govern not just the heavens, but the inner workings of human psychology and spiritual evolution. Cancer's role in human history, mythology, and beyond. The mythology surrounding Cancer is as fascinating and complex as the constellation itself. The Greek myths surrounding this celestial figure, particularly the story of the Hydra and Hercules, offer us a window into the ancient understanding of the world. In Greek mythology, Cancer is associated with Hera, the queen of the gods, and the fierce battle between Hercules and the monstrous Hydra. Hera, in her jealousy and desire to sabotage Hercules, sent a giant crab, Carcinus, to distract the hero as he battled the Hydra. Although Carcinus was ultimately crushed under Hercules' might, the bravery shown by the crab did not go unnoticed by the gods. In a fitting tribute, Hera immortalized the crab by placing it among the stars as the constellation Cancer, symbolizing sacrifice, bravery, and protection. This myth, along with others, lays the foundation for Cancer's connection to emotional fortitude and the importance of sacrifice in the pursuit of noble goals. But mythology only begins to scratch the surface of what Cancer means. The sign's significance spans astronomy, astrology, and cultural representations that continue to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. What is most intriguing about Cancer is how it symbolizes the unseen, not the showy grandeur of the lion or the daring courage of the ram, but the hidden depths of emotion, security, and the nurturing qualities that sustain us. Astronomy, a humble yet important constellation. Capricornus may occupy a prominent place in the skies of ancient civilizations, but Cancer still holds significance when we turn to astronomy. It sits between Gemini and Leo, within the zodiacal band, a belt of the sky where the sun, moon, and planets move. Even though Cancer is not home to any of the brightest stars in the sky, it contains several important celestial objects, including the famous Beehive Cluster, Messier 44, one of the nearest open star clusters to Earth. The Beehive Cluster, visible to the naked eye under the right conditions, is a striking celestial feature that draws astronomers and stargazers alike. Composed of hundreds of stars, it serves as a stellar nursery, giving scientists valuable insight into stellar formation and the evolution of star systems. This open cluster's proximity, only about 577 light-years from Earth, makes it an important study area for astronomers working to understand how stars are born and how they evolve. Through the lens of modern astronomy, Cancer reveals itself to be a focal point for understanding the life cycles of stars and the expansion of galaxies. But the true importance of Cancer in astronomy isn't limited to the Beehive Cluster or its position in the zodiac. Its placement in the night sky also places it in a region rich with galactic structure and stellar phenomena that continue to fascinate modern scientists. Its role in cosmic exploration is matched only by its deep cultural significance, which reaches into the past and continues to offer guidance and inspiration. Astrology, Cancer as the heart of emotional intuition. In astrology, Cancer is a cardinal water sign ruled by the moon. The moon, which governs emotions, intuition, and inner feelings, bestows upon Cancer its defining traits: empathy, nurturing, and deep emotional connection. Cancer is often seen as the protector, the sign that cares deeply for family, home, and loved ones. Its symbolism of the crab, with its hard shell protecting a vulnerable interior, perfectly encapsulates the psychological makeup of Cancer individuals, outwardly reserved and cautious, but deeply caring, sensitive, and emotionally nurturing on the inside. Cancer's placement in the fourth house of the zodiac chart further enhances its association with home, family, and emotional security. People born under this sign are thought to seek emotional stability and fulfillment in their personal lives, finding comfort in familiarity, tradition, and intimate relationships. The sign's nurturing traits are typically expressed in their loyalty and protectiveness toward those they love. Despite their emotional depth, Cancer individuals are also highly intuitive. They are known for their ability to feel situations and people, often understanding the unspoken emotions of others. This ability to sense emotional currents makes them excellent at offering emotional support and fostering deep connections. They have an intrinsic understanding of the needs and desires of those around them, making them some of the most loyal and loving friends, partners, and family members. This nurturing instinct isn't always obvious, as Cancer individuals often retreat into their shells when faced with vulnerability or emotional distress. However, this crab-like retreat allows them to regroup and protect themselves from the overwhelming demands of the outside world, making them more resilient in the long run. Cancer's cultural significance, emotional resilience, and strength. The symbolism of Cancer has evolved through history to represent emotional resilience and strength in the face of adversity. In modern times, Cancer's emotional depth continues to be a source of inspiration for both personal development and cultural narratives. Cancer in art and literature. In many cultures, the crab has been used as a symbol of self-protection and inner strength. Its hard exoskeleton represents the defenses we build to shield our most vulnerable selves, while its soft underbelly symbolizes the emotional core we guard so carefully. In literature and art, Cancer is often represented as a symbol of emotional depth, showing how vulnerability can coexist with resilience and strength. Cancer's influence on modern culture. In pop culture, Cancer is often portrayed as a deeply emotional character, sometimes nurturing, sometimes introverted, but always attuned to the emotions of others. Many movies, television shows, and books feature Cancerian characters who care for others, overcome personal obstacles, and navigate the complexities of emotional relationships. These characters serve as reminders that true strength comes not from dominance or aggression, but from the ability to understand and nurture. Emotional depth in the face of global challenges. As we move into the 21st century, the world faces immense challenges. Social inequality, climate change, and global conflicts test humanity's resolve and emotional resilience. In this climate of uncertainty, the symbolism of Cancer as the protector, a sign associated with the home, family, and emotional well-being, offers a model for how we can approach these challenges. The nurturing role of Cancer. As societies around the world confront unprecedented challenges, the qualities of empathy, intuitive understanding, and emotional resilience that Cancer represents are more vital than ever. Just as Cancer protects its home, we must learn to protect the environment, nurture the vulnerable, and respond to the emotional and physical needs of the global community. Personal and collective growth. Cancer's connection to emotional intelligence and the need for personal fulfillment is more relevant than ever in the modern age. With the world grappling with rapid change, individuals and societies must cultivate the emotional depth needed to survive and thrive in the face of adversity. Cancer's role as the protector can serve as a guide for building emotional resilience, nurturing our inner strength while facing the external challenges of the world. Conclusion: the enduring power of the celestial crab. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, Cancer may not boast the brightest stars, but its significance in human culture and psyche is undeniable. From its mythological origins to its representation in astrology, art, and modern-day popular culture, Cancer continues to resonate with people all over the world. The celestial crab remains a timeless symbol of protection, resilience, and emotional depth, offering both guidance and inspiration for individuals striving to find balance in their personal lives and navigate the complexities of the modern world. As we look to the stars and reflect on the symbolism of Cancer, we are reminded of the eternal dance between vulnerability and strength, emotional depth and resilience that is central to the human experience. Cancer teaches us that, in the face of adversity, the ability to nurture ourselves and others with love, compassion, and empathy is not a weakness, but the greatest source of strength. Mythological origins of Cancer, the celestial crab. Cancer, the celestial crab, is a constellation steeped in rich mythology, serving as a celestial symbol of resilience, protection, and self-sacrifice. Its story is woven into the mythological fabric of ancient Greece, where it plays a significant role in one of the most famous tales of heroism and divine intervention. The tale of Cancer's origins, from its association with the Greek hero Hercules to its placement among the stars, highlights themes of bravery, duty, and the undying pursuit of noble goals, even in the face of overwhelming odds. In this section, we will explore the mythological origins of Cancer, examining its connection to Greek mythology, its symbolism in the labors of Hercules, and its ultimate immortalization in the heavens. This mythological tale serves as a potent reminder of the enduring qualities of self-sacrifice, courage, and the struggle between good and evil, which have remained relevant across cultures and time periods. 1. Cancer and the labors of Hercules, the Hydra and the crab. The most widely known myth associated with Cancer comes from the story of Hercules and his 12 labors, tasks that he was bound to perform as a punishment for a crime he did not commit. The labors of Hercules were designed to test his strength, courage, and endurance, and each labor served to demonstrate his ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. However, one labor stands out, as it directly involves the Cancer constellation. The myth takes us to the second of Hercules' 12 labors, the slaying of the Hydra, a 9-headed serpent-like creature that terrorized the land of Lerna. The Hydra was notorious for its ability to regenerate 2 heads every time one was cut off. In order to defeat this monstrous creature, Hercules needed not only strength but strategy and determination. As Hercules battled the Hydra, Hera, the queen of the gods and the mortal enemy of Hercules, sent a giant crab, Carcinus, to distract the hero and complicate the task. The crab's role in the myth was not one of overwhelming force, rather it was a distraction, an attempt by Hera to make Hercules' task even more difficult. The crab, driven by loyalty to the goddess, attacked Hercules' legs in an effort to divert his attention away from the Hydra. Despite the crab's efforts, Hercules swiftly crushed the creature beneath his foot, continuing his battle with the Hydra until he was victorious. The battle was fierce, and though Hercules triumphed, he was not unaware of the role that Carcinus played. Hera, recognizing the bravery and self-sacrifice shown by the crab, immortalized it by placing it among the stars, where it remains today as the constellation Cancer. 2. The symbolism of Cancer, the role of the crab in the myth. The myth of Hercules and the Hydra reveals much about the symbolic significance of Cancer in Greek mythology. Carcinus, the crab, represents loyalty, courage, and sacrifice. Despite knowing that it stood little chance against the mighty Hercules, the crab boldly attempted to fulfill Hera's command and aid in the defeat of the hero. The image of the crab with its hard exoskeleton represents self-protection and defensive instincts. In many cultures, crabs have symbolized the idea of emotional armor, the hard shell that protects the softer, more vulnerable interior. In the case of Cancer, this symbolism translates to the nurturing and protective nature of those born under the sign. Capable of providing safety and care for others, Cancerian individuals often act as protectors for their loved ones, showing immense resilience in the face of challenges. However, Cancer also symbolizes sacrifice. Just as the crab sacrificed itself for the greater good, serving Hera's will without hesitation, Cancerian individuals are often characterized by their willingness to put others' needs before their own. The crab's action in the myth serves as a reminder of how, in moments of adversity, the act of selflessness and loyalty can be a powerful force, even in the face of insurmountable odds. The final act in the myth, Hera's decision to place the crab among the stars, further solidifies the noble sacrifice of Cancer, transforming it into a symbol of divine recognition. The crab, despite its defeat, is honored by the goddess, and its role in the myth is immortalized in the heavens as a tribute to its bravery and loyalty. 3. Cancer and its connection to other myths. While the most famous myth involving Cancer revolves around Hercules and the Hydra, the crab figure appears in other mythological traditions as well, symbolizing qualities such as protection, defense, and transformation. The crab in Egyptian mythology. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the crab was associated with the goddess Hathor, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. Hathor was often depicted as a protectress, guarding the Nile and ensuring the prosperity of the land. The crab was seen as a symbol of rebirth, associated with the regenerative powers of the Nile River. The crab, like Cancer, embodies protection and nurturing, as well as the renewal of life. The crab in Native American mythology. Some Native American tribes, particularly those in the Pacific Northwest, saw the crab as a creature that bridged the land and sea. The crab's ability to move sideways was seen as a symbol of adaptability and the ability to navigate difficult situations. Like Cancer, the crab in these cultures symbolized both stability and fluidity, embodying the idea that it is sometimes necessary to move in unexpected ways to achieve success. The crab in Chinese mythology. In Chinese culture, the crab is often associated with the element of water and the lunar cycles. Water, in Chinese philosophy, represents emotion, healing, and the feminine principle. The crab's presence in Chinese mythology underscores the importance of emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate emotional tides with grace and balance, much like Cancer's association with emotional depth and intuition. 4. Cancer in the zodiac, a symbol of emotional depth and protection. In astrology, Cancer is one of the 12 signs of the zodiac, and it occupies a significant place in the astrological wheel. It is a cardinal water sign, meaning that it represents the initiation of emotional and spiritual cycles. Ruled by the moon, Cancer governs emotional life, family, home, and inner security. It is the nurturer of the zodiac, always looking out for others and striving to create a safe and loving environment. Emotional intuition and nurturing. Individuals born under the sign of Cancer are known for their emotional sensitivity and intuitive nature. Just as the crab seeks to protect itself by retreating into its shell, Cancer individuals often create a secure environment for themselves and their loved ones. They are deeply connected to their emotions and possess a strong intuition, allowing them to empathize with the needs of others. They are often found in roles that involve caregiving, such as parents, nurses, teachers, or counselors, where they can express their nurturing instincts. Self-protection and vulnerability. One of Cancer's most significant traits is its self-protective nature. Like the crab, Cancer individuals can sometimes appear tough or defensive, hiding their true vulnerabilities beneath a hard exterior. However, once they feel safe and secure, they reveal a deeply compassionate and loving side. This duality, the desire to protect themselves while offering care to others, is an essential aspect of Cancer's identity. It reflects the balance between self-preservation and the willingness to care for others despite the risk of emotional vulnerability. Family and home as sacred spaces, Cancer is deeply connected to the concept of home and family, which are often seen as the sources of emotional security. This ties back to the crab's role as a protector of its territory. For Cancer individuals, their home is not just a physical space but an emotional sanctuary, a place where they can retreat and replenish their emotional reserves. In astrology, Cancer's placement in the fourth house represents the foundation of one's emotional well-being, where family dynamics, childhood experiences, and the inner self are nurtured and cultivated. 5. Cancer's placement in the heavens, the crab's legacy. Cancer's transformation from a mythological creature into a celestial body is a powerful symbol of its enduring legacy. The placement of Cancer among the stars speaks to the idea of immortality through sacrifice. Just as Hera honored the crab for its role in the myth, so too does the constellation Cancer continue to hold a special place in the night sky, symbolizing the universal qualities of bravery, protection, and emotional depth. The Beehive Cluster, Messier 44. One of the most notable features of Cancer is the Beehive Cluster, also known as Messier 44, one of the nearest open star clusters to Earth. The Beehive Cluster, visible to the naked eye, contains over 50 stars and serves as a stellar nursery, a region where new stars are born. This open cluster is often associated with new beginnings and nurturing energy, much like Cancer itself, which governs the concept of home and family. The Beehive Cluster's presence within Cancer further enhances the crab's symbolism of rebirth, growth, and transformation. The importance of Cancer in astrological charts. In astrology, Cancer's placement in an individual's chart can indicate the areas of life where a person seeks emotional fulfillment, family connections, and emotional security. Individuals with prominent Cancer placements are often highly intuitive and sensitive to the needs of others. They are deeply connected to their roots and find meaning in building close-knit relationships and creating safe spaces for themselves and their loved ones. Conclusion: the enduring myth of Cancer. Cancer, the celestial crab, holds a unique place in both the celestial sphere and the human psyche. From its mythological origins in Greek mythology to its symbolic role in astrology, Cancer represents the qualities of protection, sacrifice, and emotional resilience. The crab's symbolic self-defense and loyalty to its mission, whether serving Hera or caring for others, remains a potent reminder of the power of nurturing, loyalty, and emotional connection. The sea goat's immortalization among the stars by Hera reflects its significance as a symbol of bravery and sacrifice. As we look up to the night sky and observe the faint constellation of Cancer, we are reminded of the eternal presence of the crab's protective instincts and its sacrifice for the greater good. Cancer is not merely a celestial body, it is a timeless symbol of our innate desire to protect, care for, and nurture those we love. Through its mythological journey, the crab continues to inspire us with its emotional depth, compassion, and resilience. It serves as a reminder that, in the face of life's challenges, we too can embody the strength and sacrifice needed to protect those we care about, while ensuring that we never lose sight of our own emotional well-being and the need for nurturing spaces. Astronomical features of Cancer, the celestial crab in the sky. As the night sky unfolds, a vast and uncharted expanse of twinkling lights reaches across the heavens, each star a story, a marker in the cosmic dance. Amidst the immensity of this celestial sphere lies Cancer, the celestial crab, a constellation whose faint stars often go unnoticed by the untrained eye, yet whose presence holds deep significance both scientifically and symbolically. Cancer is a quiet constellation, sitting just east of the more prominent Gemini and Leo, and slightly to the west of Hydra, the largest of the constellations. Despite its relatively small size and lack of bright, easily visible stars, Cancer is home to one of the most fascinating features in the night sky, the Beehive Cluster, also known as Messier 44. This cluster, one of the nearest open star clusters to Earth, is a stellar nursery where new stars are born and evolve. It is a symbol of creation, the beginning of new life in the cosmos, a fitting feature for a constellation that represents nurturing and emotional depth. 1. Cancer's position in the sky, a quiet, hidden beauty. Cancer lies in a region of the sky that is often overlooked. Its stars are faint, and its boundaries are hard to define, a characteristic that makes it one of the more elusive constellations. However, it occupies a special place in the zodiacal band, the path through which the sun, moon, and planets move. The zodiacal band is an imaginary belt around the sky that forms the celestial background of our solar system. This makes Cancer an essential reference point for celestial navigation and astrological mapping. Position relative to the ecliptic. Cancer, as a zodiac constellation, is found along the ecliptic, the apparent path the sun takes through the sky over the course of the year. The sun passes through Cancer between June 21 and July 22, marking the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. It is during this time that Cancer's energy is believed to be at its peak, filling the world with the nurturing qualities of emotional depth and self-care. Neighboring constellations. Cancer is flanked by two prominent constellations, Gemini to the west and Leo to the east. While both of these constellations contain bright stars, Castor and Pollux in Gemini and Regulus in Leo, Cancer lacks a bright standout. Yet, its position as a cardinal water sign in astrology places it in the zodiac next to these signs of communication and strength, blending emotional insight with mental acuity and personal power. Visibility. Because its stars are faint and scattered across the sky, Cancer is one of those constellations that is often easier to miss. Located north of the celestial equator, Cancer is best seen in the spring and early summer months in the northern hemisphere. It is visible during the evenings of April to July, with the best time to observe it being around midnight in the months of June and July, when it is high in the sky. Despite its lack of bright stars, Cancer is still an important fixture in the sky. Its faint but significant presence speaks to the idea that not all things of value or meaning need to be loud or obvious. Sometimes quiet strength, much like the influence of Cancer, lies in the unseen, the subtle, and the calm. 2. Notable stars of Cancer, faint but intriguing. While Cancer does not boast stars as bright as those of Orion, Sirius, or Arcturus, its faint stars contribute to the constellation's delicate beauty, and each has its role in our understanding of the cosmos. Among Cancer's dim stars, a few still stand out, and one in particular, Beta Cancri, holds special significance. Beta Cancri Altaff. The brightest star in the constellation is Beta Cancri, also known as Altaff. This star is a binary system composed of two stars orbiting each other. Altaff is a yellow giant located around 290 light-years from Earth. Its brightness is moderate, around 3.5 magnitude, but it is still noticeable in the night sky. Though not as prominent as the stars in neighboring constellations, Beta Cancri serves as an important anchor in the constellation. The name Altaff comes from the Arabic word meaning the end or the tip, which is fitting, as Beta Cancri is located at the head of the celestial crab. The star's gentle light symbolizes the nurturing and protective qualities of Cancer, offering an atmosphere of care and emotional security. Altaff's role as a yellow giant also makes it a useful indicator for stellar research, as its characteristics give insight into the evolutionary stages of stars. Delta Cancri Asellus Australis. Located near the center of Cancer, Delta Cancri or Asellus Australis is another relatively dim star, but its position within the constellation makes it essential to the overall pattern of Cancer. The name Asellus Australis means southern donkey in Latin, and it is often paired with Asellus Borealis in the northern part of the constellation, completing the image of the crab's body. Delta Cancri is a giant star that helps provide clues to scientists about the end stages of a star's life cycle. Gamma Cancri Tarazd. Another star within the Cancer constellation is Gamma Cancri, also known as Tarazd. Located about 380 light-years from Earth, this orange giant shines faintly in the constellation. Despite its modest brightness, Gamma Cancri is part of the stellar network that makes up the structure of the constellation and plays a role in the study of stellar aging. Stars like Gamma Cancri are valuable for understanding stellar evolution and the final phases of stellar life, as they are in the process of burning helium and will eventually become white dwarfs. While Cancer's stars are not the brightest, they provide a unique and essential framework for understanding the structure and evolution of the universe. These stars, modest in brilliance but rich in scientific value, teach us that there is beauty in subtlety and quiet strength, much like the symbol of Cancer itself. 3. The Beehive Cluster, a stellar nursery in Cancer. One of the most significant features of the Cancer constellation is the Beehive Cluster, Messier 44, or M44. This open star cluster is one of the most prominent deep sky objects in the constellation and one of the nearest open clusters to Earth. It's located around 577 light-years away and is easily visible to the naked eye under good sky conditions, even though it's faint and diffuse. The Beehive Cluster is often referred to as a stellar nursery because it is a region where new stars are born. A rich stellar environment, the Beehive Cluster is made up of hundreds of stars, ranging in age and brightness. Although many of the stars in this cluster are relatively young, having formed just 500 million years ago, some are already nearing the end of their life cycle. The cluster provides astronomers with a valuable laboratory for studying the formation and evolution of stars, as well as the dynamics of stellar clusters. Astronomical significance. The Beehive Cluster is notable for its compact arrangement of stars. It's one of the closest open clusters to Earth, making it an ideal target for astronomers seeking to study star formation. Open clusters like M44 are typically young, in astronomical terms, and evolve quickly. Because the Beehive Cluster is so nearby, it offers a glimpse into the early stages of star development, allowing astronomers to observe how stars interact within a cluster and how they evolve over time. Cultural connection. The Beehive Cluster's location in Cancer makes it a prominent feature for both scientific observation and cultural symbolism. Its close association with emotional security and nurturing in astrology fits perfectly with its role as a stellar nursery. Where new life is brought into the universe, the cluster's place within Cancer emphasizes the constellation's symbolic connection to new beginnings and the nurturing energy that fosters growth. 4. The significance of Cancer in galactic studies. Cancer's positioning within the Milky Way offers astronomers a unique perspective on the galactic structure and stellar evolution. By studying Cancer and its components, such as the Beehive Cluster and its constituent stars, scientists gain insights into the dynamics of galaxy formation, star birth, and the interactions between star systems. The galactic plane. Cancer lies near the galactic plane of the Milky Way, a region rich with stars, nebulae, and other stellar objects. This positioning places it in a region of the sky teeming with stellar activity, making it a key area for the study of how stars form and evolve. The dense concentration of stars in Cancer, along with the proximity of the Beehive Cluster, makes it a hotspot for exploring the early phases of star systems and the interaction between stars, gas, and dust. Star formation. Open clusters like the Beehive Cluster are important for understanding the processes of star formation. The dense star fields within Cancer's boundaries offer a snapshot of the various stages of stellar life, providing a clearer picture of how stars like our Sun are born, live, and eventually die. The study of star clusters like Messier 44 helps astronomers understand the larger-scale processes of galactic evolution and the ways in which stars interact within a system. 5. Conclusion. The quiet majesty of Cancer. Though Cancer may not boast the most luminous stars in the sky, its astronomical features are rich with significance. From the faint glow of its stars to the formation of stars in the Beehive Cluster, Cancer holds an essential place in both the astronomical and symbolic realms. It serves as a reminder that even the quietest, most unobtrusive constellations can have profound significance in both science and culture. For those who take the time to explore its depths, Cancer reveals itself not as a mere backdrop in the night sky, but as a fascinating and important part of the universe, a constellation full of mystery, beauty, and meaning. Whether through the study of its faint stars or the observation of the stellar nursery that lies within its bounds, Cancer continues to inspire awe and discovery, just as it has done for millennia. As we look up at the stars, Cancer reminds us that there is much to be learned from the quiet, humble constellations, the ones that shine not with blinding brightness, but with a soft, steady light that guides us through the darkness. And, like the crab itself, it shows us that sometimes the greatest strength lies in quiet resilience, emotional depth, and the willingness to nurture the world around us. Astrological significance of Cancer, the celestial crab in the zodiac. In the cosmic dance of the stars, Cancer stands as a sign of emotional depth, nurturing energy and self-protection. The celestial crab, with its delicate balance between the earthly and the spiritual, holds a unique place in the zodiac, offering insight into the inner workings of the human heart and soul. As the fourth sign of the zodiac, Cancer spans from June 21 to July 22 and is ruled by the Moon, the planet of emotion, intuition, and maternal energy. Cancer's cardinal water nature sets it apart as a sign that initiates emotional cycles and creates a foundation for personal growth and transformation. To understand Cancer's astrological significance, we must delve into the core qualities of this water sign, examining how its traits manifest in the lives of individuals and how they influence both personal growth and interpersonal dynamics. From the sensitive and intuitive nature of Cancer to its role in shaping family, home, and emotional security, Cancer offers a profound understanding of emotional resilience, nurturing, and protection in the modern world. 1. The emotional landscape of Cancer, nurturing and protection. At the heart of Cancer's astrological significance lies its deep connection to emotion and intuition. Governed by the Moon, Cancer is intrinsically tied to the ebb and flow of our inner world. The Moon, a luminary of the night sky, represents our emotional instincts, intuition, and the ebbing cycles of nurturing and care. In this light, Cancer's qualities are heavily shaped by the cyclical nature of the Moon, mirroring its ability to wax, wane, and shift between phases. Intuition and sensitivity. Cancer is a deeply intuitive sign that perceives the world through emotional filters. People born under this sign are often described as highly sensitive and emotionally perceptive. They are adept at picking up on subtle cues from the environment and the people around them, making them particularly empathetic and compassionate. This intuitive sensitivity allows Cancer individuals to connect with others on a deep, emotional level, often sensing feelings or needs that others may not express. Nurturing nature. As a cardinal water sign, Cancer is a pioneering force in the realm of emotions. Like the crab that fiercely defends its shell and young, Cancer individuals are protective and nurturing, always striving to create a safe and secure environment for those they care about. Whether in family settings or close friendships, Cancer is the nurturer, the person who provides comfort, love, and emotional stability. The nurturing energy of Cancer is not merely about caregiving, it's about creating an emotional refuge. Much like the crab's sheltering shell, Cancer represents the comforting embrace that allows others to heal, grow, and find safety. This deeply protective aspect is an integral part of Cancer's emotional landscape, and it allows Cancer individuals to take on roles of caregiver, protector, and emotional anchor in relationships. 2. Cancer and the fourth house, the foundation of emotional security. In astrology, each of the 12 signs governs a specific house, representing different areas of life. Cancer rules the fourth house, which is traditionally associated with the home, family, roots, and emotional security. The fourth house represents the foundation of who we are, the emotional roots that anchor us to the world, and the relationships that shape our sense of belonging and inner peace. Family and home as sacred spaces. The fourth house is often called the house of home and family, and Cancer's connection to this house highlights its deep need for emotional security and family bonds. For Cancer individuals, home is not just a physical space, it is an emotional sanctuary, a place where they feel safe, nurtured, and grounded. Home is where their heart resides, and it serves as the anchor in a world that can sometimes feel uncertain and overwhelming. the values and traditions passed down through family become a central theme in the lives of Cancer-born individuals, shaping their emotional landscape and guiding their life's journey. Connection to ancestral roots. The fourth house is also associated with one's ancestral roots and heritage. For Cancer, this deep connection to family and history is integral to understanding their own identity. The moon's influence encourages Cancer individuals to seek connections to their past, whether through memories, traditions, or family stories, and use these connections to provide emotional strength and guidance for their future. Much like the crab's instinct to retreat to safety, Cancer individuals often look to the comfort of family and home when facing life's challenges. Emotional foundations. Cancer's placement in the fourth house also symbolizes the need to build strong emotional foundations. People born under this sign often feel a deep desire to create a secure, stable, and nurturing environment for themselves and those they love. They place great value on emotional bonds and prioritize creating a supportive, loving atmosphere in their personal lives. This drive to establish a secure base allows Cancer individuals to grow and thrive in both their personal and professional pursuits. 3. Cancer and the moon, the intuitive and emotional ruler. The moon's influence over Cancer cannot be overstated. As the ruling planet of Cancer, the moon governs the emotional body, our instincts, intuition, and the deep well of feeling that guides our decisions. The moon's phases, its waxing, waning, and full cycle, serve as an emotional guide for Cancer, reflecting the fluidity of feelings and the cyclical nature of emotional growth. Emotional cycles and instincts. Like the phases of the moon, Cancer's emotional world is marked by periods of intensity and calm. Cancer individuals are attuned to their emotions, experiencing the highs and lows of life with great depth. The waxing and waning of the moon influence their moods and emotional states, making them empathetic, but sometimes moody. This connection to the moon gives Cancer a deep sense of self-awareness, enabling them to process emotions with great care and introspection. Intuitive sensibility. The moon is also a symbol of intuition, and Cancer individuals are renowned for their ability to understand situations beyond the surface. Whether in their personal lives or professional settings, they possess an innate ability to sense what is unspoken, be it emotional undercurrents or subtle signs of stress or joy. This heightened emotional intelligence makes Cancer an excellent empath, able to navigate complex emotional dynamics with ease and understanding. Emotional receptivity. The moon represents receptivity and nurturing energy, which are essential qualities in Cancer's emotional makeup. People born under this sign are highly sensitive to the needs of others, and their empathetic nature drives them to provide emotional support and care. They instinctively understand when someone is in need of comfort or guidance, and they will often offer it without hesitation. This emotional intuition allows Cancer to build deep, meaningful relationships, grounded in mutual trust and affection. 4. Cancer's traits, the protectors of the zodiac. Cancer's symbolism. The crab embodies its defining traits of protection, resilience, and emotional depth. Just as the crab retreats into its hard shell for safety, Cancer individuals often create emotional barriers to protect their innermost selves. These protective instincts, however, do not diminish their capacity to care deeply for others. Rather, they underscore a noble resilience that allows them to support and nurture others while safeguarding their emotional core. The protective instinct. Cancer is known for its protective instincts, whether toward family, friends, or loved ones. Just as the crab shields its vulnerable body, Cancer individuals go to great lengths to ensure that those they care about are safe and emotionally supported. This loyalty and devotion make Cancer one of the most reliable and trustworthy signs of the zodiac. However, this protective nature also means that Cancer may sometimes be cautious or guarded when it comes to opening up to new people or situations. This emotional shell serves as a defense mechanism, ensuring that Cancer remains safe from potential hurt. Nurturing and empathy. Cancer's emotional intelligence is matched only by its ability to nurture. Whether it's caring for a partner, a friend, or a child, Cancer is a natural caretaker, offering comfort and stability to those in need. This sign excels in roles that require emotional sensitivity, such as those of nurses, counselors, and teachers, professions that allow Cancer to use its innate nurturing abilities to help others thrive. The Cancerian need to care and protect is not only a reflection of their compassion, but also an extension of their desire for emotional connection. Resilience and adaptability. The crab's ability to move sideways symbolizes Cancer's resilience and adaptability in the face of life's challenges. Cancer individuals may not always take the most direct route to achieving their goals, but they have an innate ability to navigate obstacles with quiet strength and determination. They understand that life requires a balance of emotional depth and practical action, and they adapt to difficult situations with grace and perseverance. 5. Cancer's influence in relationships, the protective and nurturing partner. Cancer is a deeply emotional and devoted sign when it comes to relationships. In romantic partnerships, friendships, and family dynamics, Cancer excels as the nurturer, the person who ensures that emotional needs are met and that everyone feels secure and loved. They seek deep, meaningful connections and are often happiest when surrounded by close family and friends. Romantic relationships. Cancer in romantic relationships is deeply caring and loyal, but can also be vulnerable and guarded. While they form tight emotional bonds, Cancer individuals may sometimes retreat when feeling overwhelmed or insecure. Once they trust someone, however, they are incredibly devoted and willing to offer unwavering support. They prioritize the emotional needs of their partner and are known for their selflessness and willingness to make sacrifices for those they love. Family dynamics. Cancer's connection to family is a key aspect of its identity. People born under this sign are often family-oriented and seek to create a loving and secure home environment. They take on the role of caretaker and protector for their loved ones, often sacrificing their own needs for the well-being of those they care about. This unwavering loyalty and commitment to family is one of the most defining characteristics of Cancer. Conclusion: the heart of the zodiac. Cancer is a sign that encapsulates the full spectrum of emotional depth, resilience, and nurturing energy. Governed by the moon, Cancer individuals are deeply connected to their emotions, instinctively offering protection and care to those they love. Like the crab, they create emotional shells to guard their hearts, but once they feel safe and secure, they become the most devoted and compassionate of companions. Whether in relationships, personal growth, or family dynamics, Cancer represents the nurturing force that helps us build emotional connections, face adversity with grace, and provide emotional shelter for those in need. As a cardinal water sign, Cancer teaches us the importance of emotional resilience and the power of protecting and nurturing ourselves and others in an ever-changing world. Cancer, as the celestial crab, remains a symbol of emotional depth, personal growth, and family bonds, offering us a blueprint for navigating the emotional tides of life. Just as the crab carries its home on its back, Cancer reminds us that the most important home is the one we create within ourselves, where love, security, and emotional support reside. Cultural and symbolic representations of Cancer, the celestial crab across time and tradition. The night sky has long served as a canvas for humanity's dreams, stories, and understanding of the universe. Among the countless constellations that have captured our collective imagination, Cancer, the celestial crab, stands as a symbol of resilience, nurturing, and the profound power of emotional depth. Though often overshadowed by its more prominent celestial neighbors, Cancer carries a weight of cultural and symbolic significance that spans ancient mythology, astrology, art, and modern cultural representations. As a water sign ruled by the moon, Cancer has been revered in many cultures for its ability to protect, nurture, and guide others through times of emotional turmoil and uncertainty. In this section, we will explore the cultural and symbolic representations of Cancer, from its ancient mythological origins to its modern-day interpretations in art, literature, and pop culture. Whether in Greek mythology, astrological symbolism, or global traditions, the celestial crab's journey across time offers a rich tapestry of emotional strength, sacrifice, and the nurturing nature that continues to resonate with human beings across the world. 1. Cancer in ancient mythology, the celestial crab's role in divine narratives. The mythological origins of Cancer are rooted in the epic tales of Greek mythology, where the sign is associated with the hero Hercules and his 12 labors. The tale of Cancer's creation from a tiny, valiant crab sent to distract Hercules during his battle with the Hydra is one of the most enduring stories in the zodiac's history. But Cancer's mythological legacy extends beyond the Greek world, influencing various cultures with its themes of sacrifice, bravery, and emotional protection. Greek mythology, the labor of Hercules and the crab's sacrifice. According to Greek mythology, Hera, the queen of the gods, loathed Hercules for being the son of her husband Zeus and a mortal woman, Alcmene. To prevent his success in his 12 labors, Hera plotted to sabotage Hercules' efforts at every turn. In the second labor, Hercules was tasked with slaying the Hydra, a multi-headed serpent-like creature that regenerated its heads when severed. To disrupt Hercules' task, Hera sent a giant crab, Carcinus, to distract him. The crab latched onto Hercules' feet, trying to slow him down in his battle with the Hydra. Despite its courage and determination, the crab was crushed under the weight of Hercules' heroic efforts. In recognition of the crab's bravery and self-sacrifice, Hera placed Carcinus among the stars as the constellation Cancer, immortalizing its noble, albeit unsuccessful, contribution to the myth. Symbolism of Cancer in Greek mythology. In this myth, Cancer's symbolic role is that of the sacrificial protector. Carcinus' willingness to distract Hercules in order to protect the Hydra represents Cancer's deep-rooted qualities of nurturing and loyalty. It underscores the idea of self-sacrifice in the name of duty, love, and protection. In the myth, Cancer is a symbol of resilience, showing that even in the face of defeat, acts of loyalty and bravery are not in vain, they are honored and immortalized. 2. Cancer in other ancient cultures, the crab's symbolism of protection and resilience. While the Greek myth is the most well-known, the symbolism of the crab appears in other ancient cultures as well. The crab's association with protection, adaptability, and resilience made it a significant figure in ancient Egyptian, Babylonian, and Native American traditions. The idea of the crab as a creature that can protect itself while being vulnerable on the inside resonates in cultures that value emotional depth and the balance between strength and sensitivity. Ancient Egypt. In ancient Egyptian mythology, crabs were associated with the scarab beetle, a symbol of rebirth and protection. The scarab's ability to protect and nurture its young by rolling a ball of dung mirrored the nurturing and protective qualities of Cancer. Similarly, Cancer's protective instincts are reflected in the Egyptian belief in cycles of life and the role of the sacred family. In Egyptian symbolism, the scarab was seen as a guardian of the afterlife, and its connection to Cancer speaks to the nurturing force that guides both life and death. Babylonian and Mesopotamian cultures, the crab was also a symbol of resilience and fertility in Mesopotamian astronomy. In Babylonian stargazing traditions, the crab was connected to water and the lunar cycles, signifying the emotional and psychic tides that influence human experience. The connection between water and Cancer's role in the zodiac suggests a fluidity and adaptability that is central to the sign's nature, particularly in emotionally complex situations. Native American symbolism. In Native American traditions, the crab symbolized adaptability and emotional balance. The sideways movement of the crab reflected the ability to move through life's obstacles in non-linear ways, adapting to the changing flow of emotions, relationships, and environments. Like the Cancerian tendency to approach problems from an indirect angle, Native American cultures saw the crab as a symbol of cleverness, sensitivity, and protection. 3. Cancer's influence on art and literature, the crab as a metaphor for emotional depth. The image of the crab, with its hard shell, protective exterior, and soft, vulnerable interior, has been a powerful symbol in art, literature, and modern storytelling. This symbolism extends beyond the zodiac, manifesting in stories and visual representations that explore the themes of emotional protection, nurturing, and the complexity of human emotions. Art and iconography. In ancient art, Cancer was often represented by the crab in scenes of nurturing and protection. In early Greek art, Cancer's association with the moon and emotion was expressed in the portrayal of crabs within the context of lunar cycles and female energy. The hard exterior of the crab was symbolic of the defensive emotional barriers we create to protect ourselves from the outside world, while the crab's vulnerability represented the emotional fragility hidden within. These depictions were often linked to themes of fertility and family, underscoring the connection between protection and emotional nurturing. Literature and symbolism. In literature, the crab is frequently used as a metaphor for self-protection and emotional vulnerability. Writers have long employed the image of the crab to symbolize characters who retreat into themselves to protect their fragile emotions from harm. In modern fiction, Cancer characters are often depicted as introspective, nurturing, and deeply empathetic, struggling with the tension between their desire to protect their inner selves and their need to connect with others. The crab's symbolic armor becomes a metaphor for emotional resilience, showing that true strength often comes from the ability to reveal vulnerability in a safe and trusting environment. 4. Cancer in modern popular culture. The celestial crab as a symbol of strength and resilience. In modern popular culture, Cancer continues to be portrayed as a symbol of emotional depth, resilience, and nurturing. While the crab itself may not be as dramatic or outwardly visible as other mythological creatures, its quiet strength and ability to protect and nurture have made it a beloved figure in contemporary storytelling. Film and television. In movies and TV shows, Cancer characters are often portrayed as the caretakers and protectors of their families or communities. These characters tend to possess emotional intelligence, providing wisdom and support during times of crisis. Their loyalty and devotion are usually central to their identity, showing that strength can often be found in those who care deeply for others. Characters such as Maggie Smith's portrayal of Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter series exhibit Cancerian traits, with a nurturing yet resilient personality. Cancer in the media. Beyond film and literature, Cancer has become a modern symbol of emotional authenticity and self-care. In social media and self-help circles, Cancer's representation of emotional depth has been embraced as a guide for mental health and emotional wellness. The crab's ability to shield itself while still offering care for others resonates with modern themes of emotional boundaries and the importance of nurturing personal well-being. 5. Cancer's symbolism in astrology and its influence on the modern soul. In astrology, Cancer is a water sign known for its deep emotional intelligence, sensitivity, and the power of intuition. It is a sign that speaks to the heart, offering insight into how we relate to the people we love and the world around us. Cancer's ruling planet, the Moon, adds layers of complexity to its symbolism, linking it not only to emotional depth but also to cycles of change and growth. The influence of the Moon. The Moon's influence on Cancer lends the sign its nurturing and protective qualities, as well as its connection to intuition. Cancer individuals are often deeply in tune with their inner emotions and the emotional states of others, making them compassionate and empathetic. Their emotional intuition helps them navigate the complexities of relationships, often offering guidance and support to those around them. Cancer's connection to the Moon reflects the idea of emotional cycles, the way our feelings ebb and flow in response to life's challenges. Just as the Moon influences the tides of the ocean, Cancer governs the tides of human emotion, helping us understand the power of change and growth in our emotional landscapes. Cancer's connection to the fourth house. Cancer governs the fourth house in astrology, the house of home, family, and emotional security. This placement emphasizes Cancer's role as the foundation of emotional life, representing the roots that anchor us in a chaotic world. The fourth house governs our sense of belonging, making Cancer the sign that fosters emotional bonds and creates a sense of security and nurturance in all areas of life. This deeply rooted connection to family, ancestry, and emotional legacy gives Cancer its timeless significance as a symbol of protection and home. Conclusion: the enduring symbolism of Cancer. The celestial crab Cancer has traveled across time and culture, carrying with it the powerful themes of nurturing, protection, and emotional depth. From its ancient mythological origins in Greek mythology to its modern-day presence in astrology, literature, and popular culture, Cancer's symbolism remains a profound reminder of the strength that lies in emotional resilience, the ability to protect and care for others, and the importance of home and family. Cancer's protective nature, its emotional depth, and its connection to the cycles of the moon continue to inspire and guide those who seek to nurture not only others, but also themselves. Whether as a guardian of family bonds, a symbol of emotional authenticity, or a protector in the face of adversity, Cancer remains a timeless emblem of loyalty, compassion, and the profound ability to care deeply for the world around us. The intersection of myth and science, Cancer the celestial crab. As the night sky reveals its endless canvas of stars, the story of Cancer, the celestial crab, unfolds not just as a mythological tale, but as a living testimony to how humanity has used myth to understand the cosmos, and how science now seeks to uncover the truths behind those ancient stories. Cancer exists at the intersection of myth and science, where cultural narratives about the celestial crab meet the hard truths of astronomy and astrology. This cosmic collision between the ancient and the modern is what makes Cancer such a compelling subject of study. Cancer, one of the 12 signs of the zodiac, represents the meeting point between emotional depth, protection, and resilience. These traits are reflected in both the mythology surrounding the constellation and its astronomical and astrological significance. While mythological stories like that of Hercules and the Hydra illuminate the spiritual and emotional aspects of Cancer, modern science offers a different view, a view of stars, clusters, and cosmic processes that shape not only the constellation but the universe at large. In this section, we will explore how mythology and science intersect in the context of Cancer, shedding light on how these ancient stories about the crab still influence how we perceive the cosmos, and how the study of Cancer in astronomy and astrology continues to bridge the gap between the symbolic and the scientific. 1. Cancer in Greek mythology, a tale of sacrifice and bravery. To begin our exploration, we first turn to the mythological roots of Cancer, particularly the story from Greek mythology. The myth of Hercules and his 12 labors has been passed down through generations, and at the heart of this tale lies the story of the Hydra, a multi-headed serpent-like monster that was terrorizing the land of Lerna. This labor, which tasked Hercules with slaying the Hydra, would prove to be one of his most dangerous challenges, one that would require not just his incredible strength, but wit and persistence. As Hercules battled the Hydra, the goddess Hera, in her jealousy of Hercules, sent a giant crab, Carcinus, to distract the hero. Carcinus, obeying Hera's command, latched onto Hercules' legs in an attempt to slow him down. But despite the crab's brave efforts, Hercules crushed it underfoot, continuing on to defeat the Hydra. To honor the crab's sacrifice, Hera placed Carcinus among the stars, creating the constellation Cancer. This act of divine recognition immortalized the crab's loyalty and bravery despite its defeat. The symbolism here is profound. Cancer is not merely a creature that failed, but one that was celebrated for its self-sacrifice and noble action, regardless of the outcome. 2. Astronomy and the faint light of Cancer, the celestial crab's place in the cosmos. While the mythological story speaks to the symbolic qualities of Cancer, modern astronomy offers a view of the celestial crab that is rooted in the physical universe. As one of the 88 modern constellations, Cancer is located in the northern hemisphere and is part of the zodiac. Unlike its more flamboyant counterparts, like Orion or Leo, Cancer is a faint constellation, containing no stars bright enough to stand out like some other major constellations. However, despite its faint nature, Cancer is still an important astronomical object. It lies between Gemini to the west and Leo to the east, just above the ecliptic, the apparent path that the Sun, Moon, and planets travel across the sky. This makes Cancer an important sign in both astrology and astronomical observations. At the heart of Cancer lies Messier 44, also known as the Beehive Cluster, one of the nearest open star clusters to Earth. Located about 577 light-years away, the Beehive Cluster contains over 50 stars and is often visible to the naked eye in dark skies. Though faint, it remains one of the most significant objects in the Cancer constellation, providing scientists with valuable information about stellar formation and evolution. The Beehive Cluster is a stellar nursery where new stars are born, an apt metaphor for Cancer's association with birth and nurturing. Just as Cancer governs emotions like care, protection, and nurturing, the Beehive Cluster is a cosmic representation of these qualities, being a place where stars begin their journey. In the study of stellar systems, the placement of Cancer in the sky also serves to highlight how constellations are not just shapes in the sky, but are representative of larger cosmic processes. The crab's quiet presence reminds us that the universe itself is filled with invisible forces that shape the stars, the planets, and the very nature of existence. 3. Astrological symbolism, Cancer's emotional depth and its celestial roots. While astronomy provides a scientific understanding of Cancer's place in the sky, astrology offers a spiritual and psychological lens through which we interpret Cancer's meaning. As the fourth sign of the zodiac, Cancer's influence is tied to the emotional body and intuitive wisdom. In astrology, Cancer is a water sign, a group of signs associated with emotions, intuition, and the unseen aspects of life. Water signs are often the healers and empaths of the zodiac, their energy fluid and ever-changing as they tune into the subtle currents of the world around them. Cancer's ruler is the moon, which governs emotion, instincts, and intuition. Just as the moon's phases influence the tides of the earth, Cancer individuals are deeply connected to the changing tides of their emotional landscape. They are intuitive and sensitive, able to perceive the underlying currents of human emotion that others might miss. This is Cancer's gift, the ability to understand, comfort, and nurture with a deep, compassionate heart. But Cancer's astrological significance goes beyond just emotions. As a cardinal water sign, Cancer is also a sign of initiation, a force that begins new emotional cycles. Cancer governs the fourth house, the area of the zodiac associated with family, home, and inner security. This house represents the roots of our emotional lives, the place where we find our sense of safety and belonging. It is in the fourth house where we experience nurturing, not just from our families, but also from our connection to the past, ancestry, and heritage. The emotional qualities of Cancer are often likened to the crab itself, which retreats into its shell when feeling threatened, but will fiercely protect its territory when provoked. Cancer, therefore, is both sensitive and resilient, demonstrating that strength does not always come from aggression, but from the ability to protect and preserve one's emotional well-being. 4. Myth and science, the intersection of symbolism and reality. Cancer is a prime example of how myth and science intersect, creating a rich, layered symbol that resonates with people on both an emotional and intellectual level. The constellation itself, as a stellar object, is a physical representation of the universe's cyclical nature. Just as Cancer governs the emotional cycles in our lives, so too does the movement of the stars govern the cosmic order. Yet the myth of Carcinus, the brave crab that sacrificed itself for a greater cause, highlights self-sacrifice and the protection of loved ones, values that are timeless and transcend the physical world. Cancer's influence in the celestial realm, from its placement in the sky to its significance in astrology, is deeply connected to the human condition. The intersection of myth and science in Cancer reminds us that while we may understand the universe through observation and logic, there are aspects of life that remain mysterious and intuitive, governed by forces that cannot always be measured or explained. 5. The celestial crab in modern times, a reflection of emotional awareness. In today's world, where emotional intelligence and self-awareness have become increasingly important in both personal development and societal well-being, Cancer's symbolism has taken on new significance. The modern world may often emphasize logic and pragmatism, but the emotional depth and nurturing energy of Cancer remind us that we must not neglect our emotional needs or those of others. Cancer teaches us to be aware of the emotional currents in our relationships, to understand the psychic tides that shape our interactions with others, and to nurture the emotional lives of those we care about. The intersection of myth and science in Cancer serves as a reminder that while the world of facts and figures is essential for understanding the universe, there are truths about the human spirit that cannot be explained away. Cancer, in both mythology and science, represents the balance between the tangible and the intangible, showing that we are both stardust and emotion, bound by the same forces that govern the cosmos yet shaped by our own hearts. Conclusion: the celestial crab's eternal role in the universe. Cancer, with its celestial presence, astrological influence, and rich mythological origins, is a sign that stands at the crossroads of myth and science. Its role as a protector, nurturer, and symbol of resilience transcends time, reminding us of the importance of emotional depth, self-protection, and the ongoing pursuit of balance in our lives. Just as the myth of Cancer is immortalized in the stars, its significance in modern life continues to shine, guiding us through the complexities of emotional intelligence, intuition, and the human experience. Through the intersection of mythology and science, Cancer offers both a symbolic and tangible understanding of the world around us, reflecting the emotional and spiritual needs of humanity while grounding us in the unyielding truths of the universe. As the celestial crab journeys across the night sky, it carries with it a message of nurturing, emotional strength, and the eternal dance between the physical and metaphysical that defines our place in the cosmos. From myth to measurement. Imagine Hera's loyal crab scuttling across the sky for eternity, unaware that its body harbors such cosmic beauty. Ancient observers saw devotion, modern astronomers see data, but the wonder is the same. Every coordinate, every star, every wavelength is a fragment of a new myth, a story written in numbers instead of verse. When we look at the crab's stars through spectroscopy, we uncover their secrets. Lithium abundance tells us how long they have burned. Rotational velocity reveals their magnetic youth. X-ray data from the Chandra Observatory shows which stars still flare violently with energy and which have grown calm. In these details, the myth's quiet endurance gains a new dimension. The crab that once clung to a hero's heel now clings to relevance in the laboratories of modern astrophysics. Celestial geography. Within Cancer's boundaries lie several named stars: Altair, Beta Cancri, Asellus Australis and Asellus Borealis, the southern and northern asses which frame the Beehive Cluster. These names derive from a pastoral image, two donkeys feeding from a manger, the precept. The visual link between myth and landscape reappears here, echoing ancient Greek star lore. To the eye, these stars form a loose trapezoid. At first glance, they may seem scattered, yet to the practiced skywatcher they trace a cradle, the same cradle Galileo saw, the same that poets named the Gate of Men, where souls were thought to descend into mortal form, opposite the Gate of Gods in Capricornus, where souls return to heaven. That pairing, Cancer and Capricorn, thus mark the solstitial gates, one for birth, one for return. And so, in the cosmic symmetry of the zodiac, the crab and the sea-goat forever mirror each other across the ecliptic, guardians of beginning and ending. Modern observation and the human eye. If you stand beneath a dark, rural sky, Cancer is subtle but rewarding. Draw an imaginary line between Gemini's bright twin stars and Leo's Regulus. Halfway between them lies the faint smudge of M44. With binoculars, the haze blossoms into a swarm of sparks, pale gold and icy blue, a whisper of stellar life. With a telescope, it becomes a congregation of suns, each older than every story humanity has ever told. Through that view, you participate in a lineage of skywatchers that stretches from Babylon to Galileo to NASA. The same photons that left those stars centuries ago end their journey in your eyes. The crab and the cosmos. Astronomers often speak of Cancer as a quiet constellation, but quiet does not mean empty. In radio wavelengths, the region hums faintly with background emission. In X-rays, young stars flare and cool. In infrared, the dust trails of the Milky Way glow faintly behind. In that sense, Cancer is a symphony played pianissimo, softly but with depth. The stars here remind us that even the faintest part of the sky contains worlds, chemistry, and memory. When ancient storytellers saw the crab's faint outline, they were intuitively correct. Something hidden, something enduring, something that survives by patience rather than power. The myth said, small but faithful. The science says stable and long-lived. The moral aligns perfectly across time. The meditative connection. As you listen, perhaps in the stillness before sleep, you might let your mind drift through this constellation. Visualize the faint cluster of stars like distant campfires scattered over a cosmic shore. Each flicker, a whisper of creation, each glow, a sign of ancient endurance. Breathe. Imagine the claws of the celestial crab holding the quiet of the night, protecting your rest. The stories, the measurements, the light years, all converge into one simple experience, awe and calm. Where myth meets science. If the myth gave the crab immortality, science gave it meaning. Between them lies the bridge of human curiosity. The constellation's faintness invited us to invent, then to inquire, and finally to understand. The same stars that carried Hera's creature into eternity now carry exoplanets, X-ray flares, and the data that refine our knowledge of the universe. Perhaps that is the crab's truest lesson, that endurance takes many forms. Sometimes it is myth, sometimes it is light. Both survive the ages because both answer the same human desire to look up and to wonder. Tonight, let your mind drift not only among stars and mythic crabs, but also among the quiet chamber of your own inner sky, where memory, emotion, and cosmic reflection coexist. The celestial crab sits there as a humble guardian of feelings, of home, and of the still place we carry inside. Modern symbolism and emotional resonance. Though the constellation of Cancer is faint and easy to overlook, its symbol, an animal with hard shell and soft interior, translates powerfully into human life. Astrologers and psychological writers refer to Cancer as a water sign, ruled by the moon, associated with nurturing, protectiveness, and inner emotional landscapes. What stands out is this: the crab does not charge, it shelters; it does not seize, it retreats, yet it stays present. Consider the idea of home. The crab carries its shell, and so in astrology, Cancer is linked to home, family, belonging. The constellation lies between the bright stars of Gemini and Leo, in a quiet stretch of sky. It marks a boundary of light and dark, of beginnings and endings. It holds the Beehive Cluster, a sort of cosmic hive, quiet yet alive. This duality echoes in our lives, the shell we build to protect ourselves, the community we nurture anyway. Astrology, archetype, and self-reflection. Astrology takes this symbol and maps it onto human behavior. Those born under Cancer, roughly June 21, July 22, are said to be intuitive, sensitive, deeply attached to their roots and emotions. The crab's sideways movement becomes metaphor for our indirect approach to the world. We may guard, retreat, and then come forward when we feel safe. The inward strength is as real as any outward stride. Some psychological writers suggest the crab's shell is a metaphor for protection, not just from threat, but from the flood of feeling. The moon, Cancer's ruling body in astrology, waxes and wanes. It's not constant, and perhaps that is why Cancer resonates with cyclical change. In your own life, perhaps there are nights when the world is quiet and you feel the clamor of your own thoughts. The crab invites you to draw your shell for a moment, breathe, and watch the tides of emotion. Spiritual and meditative layer. Now imagine lying beneath a dark sky, one that holds the Beehive Cluster. The faint glow of those stars is like the still heartbeat of the universe. You do not need to chase the brightest lights. You can sink into the gentle murmur of distant suns. Here the crab works again, small but steadfast. In the calm of your room, headphones on, lights low, the channel's voice hushes to speak of ancient skies, and your inner sky listens. The crab reminds us that significance does not always demand brightness. A cluster of faint stars, a mythic crab pinned above by a goddess, both survive because they remained, they witnessed, they endured, and in doing so they became anchors. Integrating story, science, and self. From the Beehive Cluster's measured age, its rotating stars, its membership list and exoplanet visitors, to the myth of Carcinos and the crab's immortal place in the heavens, these threads tie together to become more than data or legend. They become mirror. When you measure the light years of the cluster, you also measure the quiet centuries of meaning humans have projected into the sky. When you recall the crab's brave but doomed attempt to help the hero Heracles, you recall your own small acts of courage, unseen but real. Aiming for rest and quiet wonder. This is the final stretch of our journey beneath the stars. Feel the hush settle. The constellation lies low in the night sky, best seen in late winter to spring, but visible in memory anytime. You have gone from story to star to soul. Allow the stillness of this faint constellation to drift into you. Let the cluster's countless stars, each one moving outward in their slow exodus across the Milky Way, remind you that time is deep and change is gentle. And in that gentle, humbling place, allow your body to soften. The shell may close if it wants, the heart may open if it chooses, the crab holds both. Final meditative benediction. So tonight, under the pale glow of unseen stars, remember the crab, not for its claws or its defeat, but for its quiet place in the sky. Remember the Beehive Cluster, not for its billions of suns, but for the community of stars that share birth, history, and motion. Let that story and that science merge within you. If your eyelids feel heavy, let them close. Let your breathing align with the faint spin of the cluster, the slow orbit of your planet. You are part of this sky. The universe may not roar, but it hums. The crab hums. Now rest.